Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Got a nice fire going here. It feels actually awesome, I'll be honest with you. So, wanted to do another video today. It is obviously still February 1st. It is Saturday, 2020. I guess earlier today, when I made my first video, I said 2019. But eventually, I will get it right, probably about October. So anyway, let me jump right into this really quickly. So this is something a lot of people aren't paying attention to because everybody's paying attention to something else that's in the news, obviously. But right now, Africa is having its worst locust plague in decades. All right, it threatens millions of people. So it's normally when they have locusts come in, they have these. The worst ones are the desert locust, which we'll get into that. But usually when the locusts come in, they bang on pots and then they whistle, loud whistle. It usually scares the locust off. Okay. But right now, what's happening over there is they are having swarms that are affecting 5 different countries right now. Okay. And so why is there this increase in locusts for the first time as big as it is? And we're going to get into all that too, but it's like they've had a very wet, a lot of flooding, which is really good for the breeding grounds for the locusts. So it's been wet, so they're breeding really well. Okay. When you have swarms the size of Moscow, it's a little bit more difficult to disperse them than normal. So you think about that. Swarms of locusts the size of the city of Moscow. That's absolutely crazy. Okay, so right now in Kenya, they're facing the worst plague in over 70 years with the locust. So it's the first time in 70 years it has been this bad as it is bad this year. Okay, let's see. So what they've been doing to try to get rid of these swarms of locusts, they've been firing guns into the swarm, and they've also been tear gassing, believe it or not, the swarms of locusts. Okay, so because they're trying to do that because these locusts are coming in and they're swarming fields, crops, forest, the whole 9 yards. All right, let's see. Some of the swarms have forced passenger jets. I want you to think about this one for a second. So I'm just going to try to put it into perspective how bad this is over there. Some of the swarms have forced passenger jets to make emergency landings. So could you imagine you're in the jet airplane and you're flying your regular pattern, whatever it may be, and this swarm of locusts comes in, and it is so big and so massive that they actually have to do an emergency landing. That's kind of scary, okay? Now, this one I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm going to spell it. But in Eritrea in Djibouti is the second one. Let's see. There's teams of hundreds are chasing these swarms, spraying with pesticide pumps and trucks with sprayers on them. So you got teams of hundreds of people are chasing these swarms, trying to get rid of these swarms. All right. The rising number of desert locusts presents an unprecedented threat to food security and in the Horn of Africa, in that area. These desert locusts are the worst ones. I had to write all this stuff down. I wanted to make sure I got all the right information for you guys. Okay, they're the deadliest, they're most devastating ones because they can consume their own weight in food every single day. All right, so when you're talking potentially, swarms potentially containing hundreds of millions of these insects, and the worst part, they can travel up to 90 miles in a day. These swarms can. All right, it's absolutely crazy when you think about it. So if they continue to breed the way they've been breeding without some kind of control on them, it could affect 30 different countries in Africa and Asia. So it's kind of scary. The UN said that 23.6 million people in the region are already facing food shortages due to the rains and in the locust infection. Some 8.4 million people in Ethiopia alone may need food aid because of crop losses from the locusts. This is what the UN is saying. Okay. Now here's the thing that I think is interesting, and we're going to get into this, and I'm like, so part of me goes, okay, well if that's the way to take care of it, why aren't they doing it, right? So aerial spraying is the only effective method to reduce the locust numbers. According to the UN, it said they need more than 70 million from donors. Now notice how I'm going to say that, okay, to address the crisis. Now, if the only way to really truly address the issue is to do spraying, okay, spraying's expensive. So the UN is saying they need $70 million from donors. What about these African countries? Why aren't they stepping up to the plate, okay? And that's what kills me. That's what absolutely kills me, because it's always got to be somebody else's hand in somebody else's pocket. So it says spraying is expensive and dangerous in some areas where militants are operating. So part of the problem is not just the spraying is expensive, but because you have different militant groups around in Africa fighting each other, it makes it more dangerous to spray as well. Let's see. In Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation, around 700 square miles of cropland, pasture, and forest are being hit by these locusts. 700 square miles, okay? Of that 700 square miles, only 10% of it was sprayed. So think about the logistics of that, okay? Let's see. They're saying that if unchecked, the locust swarms could grow by 500 times by June, when the drier weather is expected to slow the breeding of these locusts down. So think about that. They're already, all these locusts already, and these desert locusts eat their own weight every single day. So when you have millions and millions of these things, it's got to be insane, okay? Droughts in 2018 and floods last year have slashed Kenya's main grain harvest by around a third. So it's causing the food prices to go up, like in Kenya. So food prices are already up. You have these locusts coming in, worst in decades. In Kenya itself, it said the worst in 70 years. It's affecting everything over there at this point in time, okay? This is something that's not really been real big in the news because obviously other things have been. But once again, I'm going to go back to what I've been saying probably literally, guys, for the last year. Food, food, food. Stock up on food. Obviously got to have water with that as well. But there's a crisis coming. A major, major crisis coming. Right now, that's just one issue affecting Africa. We think, go back to last year, okay, and the crops here in the United States, with the flooding that we had here in the United States, how bad that shortage of food that didn't grow, that we didn't harvest. Everything has a effect on everything else. So if we continue to have issues, and there's other issues around the world as far as harvesting stuff and those type of things, we're going to have a global food shortage. It's absolutely is a real possibility. So, and I've talked about making sure you have food. So if you can stock away food, guys, because of what is going on, what is happening, just today, they had the first case confirmed in Massachusetts for the coronavirus, which brings the number up to 8 people infected. So they say. I always want to clarify that. So they say. 8 people now infected in the United States. But now we got 1 in Massachusetts, all right? And actually, I'm going to tell you this, too. My daughter is in a curling tournament in Massachusetts today. Yeah. So, kind of scary stuff. But anyway, the real thing is what we need to do is we need to prepare again. Like I said, having food back, having things together, I think it's hugely important. Again, if you can put away freeze-dried food, That's a great thing to have. It's a great way to hedge your bet, okay? And I'm going to say it, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I have my sale going on my website at preppernurse1.com. I'm doing 20% off of all the legacy freeze-dried food at this point in time right now, okay? So it's like when you see the prices, that doesn't reflect the 20% off. That's taken at checkout. So whatever the prices are, so let's say something's $100, when you check out, you pay 80. That's just an example. So, but anyway, I don't care if you buy my freeze-dried food, which, like I said, it's the legacy freeze-dried food. I don't care if you buy Augustin Farms, My Patriot Supply, Mountain House. You absolutely should have freeze-dried food in your long-term food storage because of the shelf life of this stuff. 25-year shelf life. Made in the United States, so it's not coming from overseas. It's just, there's so many win-win-wins with that. But if you can't afford to do legacy foods or freeze-dried foods from another company, I highly, highly encourage you to get out there, get the rice, the beans. Those are the protein, for your proteins for the beans. Rice is a great filler. Very, very long shelf life. Rice can last indefinitely. Your beans can last 30 years, or easy. Okay, get things put away. Go buy canned goods. Go get things together, guys. I really am. I'm a huge believer in preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. But a situation like this, which is happening this year in Africa, like for Kenya, it's the worst swarm of locusts in 70 years, and they're waiting for somebody else to foot the bill to take care of this issue. All right, and that would be the governments when I say they're waiting, not the people that are trying to survive, taking care of this. So very, very serious situation. I definitely want to hear your feedback on it, but like I said, and so somebody had asked earlier, my sale on my website is going through next Sunday. So February 9th, at technically midnight West Coast time, so it would be actually the 10th, 3 a.m. East Coast time. Then the sale will be over. So you got like another week right now. So just letting people know how long that's going to last. But and somebody asked me that in the comments, and I just figured I would put it on video. But anyway, I want to hear your feedback on this topic that I just did here. What do you think of this situation in Africa? Is it going to have that snowball effect? Is it going to affect other things? I think that it will. Just like, when we can't grow the kind of crops that we normally grow in the United States, taking care of other people around the world, those exports have to stop. We have to take care of our own. A lot of scary stuff going on, guys. And again, I'm going to encourage all of you, prepare, 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 prepare. Food, 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 guys. That's going to be the key. I've talked about that over and over and over again. Food is going to be the key. All right? I will talk to you all later. I hope everybody's having a great night. I want people to remember we are all in this together, because we really, truly are. When it comes down to it, the only way we're going to survive what's going to happen in this country, in the world, is to work together. Okay? Also remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you are trying to do, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is you. Remember that as well. I'm like surrounded by cats. Just so you know, I've been petting her this whole time that I've been doing this video, because she's been pushing on me, demanding her attention. That's Mrs. Soxy, and as you can tell, she's absolutely starving to death. I don't feed her enough, so she's just emaciated and she's wasting away, which is very sad, but she's a good girl. So I hope you enjoyed the fire. It's very, very, very nice. It's really, really warm. So I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.